Welcome back, everybody, to WagerTalk TV. I have two NBA playoff winners for you on Thursday, April the 23rd, in coming games between the New York Knicks at the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Toronto Raptors. Will the New York Knicks be able to bounce back after losing game 2 at home and regain home court advantage against the Atlanta Hawks? The series is tied 1-1, or will Atlanta stay red hot at home? The Hawks have won 14 of their last 15 games at home. Or will it be a total that we're going to zero in on, as the total is 215.5? And we're going to get to that in just a second, as well as we're going to get to the Cleveland and Toronto game. Will the Cleveland Cavaliers be able to win and cover and take a commanding 3-0 series lead? Or will the Toronto Raptors be able to bounce back at home and make this series competitive? More importantly, for this video, will they be able to stay inside the number, which is currently plus 3.5 for Toronto? And it can go as low as 2.5, as a matter of fact, when I'm looking at our odds logic page. So I'll have those answers and much more coming shortly. Folks, if you like videos such as the one you're watching right now and you're into sports betting, then subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is WagerTalk TV. Hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. There's no strings attached or hidden agenda. And after you subscribe, make sure you hit that alert notification bell for WagerTalk TV. And also be kind enough to give today's video a like. It goes a long way in showing a small token of appreciation for the time, work, and effort I put into bringing you a quality free pick video each and every day. And it keeps the volume of these videos in which I appear here on WagerTalk TV alive. So hit that like button, folks. I'm trying to make you happy every day, and hopefully you can make me happy by hitting the like button. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. The Knicks at the Hawks. We're going to concentrate on the total in this game, which is 215.5. The Knicks have played 4-0 to the under in their last 4, 6-1 to the under in their last 7, and 9-2 to the under in their last 11. Even more so, the New York Knicks 7-0 to the under in their last 7, whenever there's been a total of between 212 and 219.5. And right now it's at 215.5, so that qualifies. The average total in those 7 games was 217.5, and there was only a combined 206.7 points scored per contest. Atlanta saw their 2 lowest totals of the season occur in games 1 and 2 in this series at Madison Square Garden. But even with that, both games went under the total. As a matter of fact, dating back to the regular season, these teams' last 4 meetings have all gone under the total with a combined 212.8 points scored per contest. I have an NBA totals betting system that applies to this game and has a lot to do with the playoffs. So I'm going to put it up there for you right now. All NBA teams playing in the month of April with a total of between 210 to 219.5, and they're playing their 5th game or fewer in the last 14 days, resulted in those contests playing 56-18 to the under since 2022. And that's 75.7%, folks. And when you stop and think about teams playing in April with only their 5th or fewer games in the last 14 days, pretty much applies to all round 1 games. And as a matter of fact, this system has gone 6-1 to the under in this year's playoffs. So very strong NBA betting system that applies to all NBA teams in this these specific situations. So again, 56-18 to the under, 75.7% since 2022, including 6-1 to the under this year. We're going to go with the New York Knicks and Atlanta Hawks to go under the total of 215.5. The Cleveland Cavaliers travel to Toronto to take on the Raptors in Game 3 of the series. The Cleveland Cavaliers, like I alluded to at the top, with a commanding 2-0 series lead right now after winning both games at home by double-digit margins. And right now at DraftKings, Cleveland is a 3.5-point favorite. Now, there also is 2.5s and 3s out there. We'll get to that discussion later, but let's get to the meat and potatoes on this one. Cleveland's coming off that 115-105 win in game 2 to take the 2-0 series lead. That took place on Monday night. However, the Cavs 0-5 straight up at ATS on the road this year when they're plus 3.5 to minus 3.5, and they allowed 105 points or fewer in their previous game. So again, Cleveland 0-5 straight up in ATS on the road this year when their point spread is between plus 3.5 and minus 3.5 like it is tonight, and they allowed 105 or less points in their previous game, which they did in game 2 of the series. They've gone, like I said, they've gone 0-5 straight up in ATS in those exact situations. And their average line in those 5 games was minus 2.2. So the Cavs haven't done well when this situation has arisen this year. The Cavs are also 0-5 straight up in ATS in their last 5 on the road when facing a team with a winning record. And they were outscored in those 5 games by 10.7 points per contest. Toronto, 4-0 straight up in ATS in their last 4 after scoring 105 points or fewer in their previous game. That applies here as well. And by the way, those 4 games they won and covered after scoring 105 or less in their previous game, they won those 4 contests by an average of 22.5 points per game. So they were dominant while doing so. Toronto did go 3-0 straight up in ATS during regular season action against Cleveland. So it's not like Cleveland has had the upper hand on them all year. And now the series returns to Toronto, or I should say goes back to Toronto. And the Raptors, by the way, all 5 games this year against the Cleveland Cavaliers have shot 48.8% or better from the field. And despite losing the first 2 games of the series, the Raptors shot 50.6 and 52.1% from the field in those 2 losses. So they're giving themselves a fighting chance with those types of shooting percentages. And Toronto, by the way, I mentioned how Cleveland is 0-5 straight up in ATS in their last 5 on the road, or last 4 on the road when facing teams with a winning record. No, it was 0-5, I should say, in their last 5 on the road when facing teams with a winning record. Contrarily, the Toronto Raptors 5-0 straight up in ATS in their last 5 at home when facing teams with the winning record. And those 5 wins by Toronto against those winning teams at home, they won by 22 points per game. So we're going to take the Toronto Raptors here plus 3.5 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. So again, the Knicks and Hawks to go under 215.5. The Raptors plus 3.5 over the Cavaliers. Now, I know it. I'm just seeing 3.5 at DraftKings, which I have. But if you don't have DraftKings, I would go for Toronto plus 2 or higher is okay with me. Okay, so plus 2 or higher, but my official pick, as it's posted at DraftKings as we speak, I'm going to take Toronto plus 3.5 over the Cavs. So there you have it. Those are my 2 free picks for Thursday, April the 23rd. Folks, don't forget to visit WagerTalk.com and my personal link, WT.buzz/RB. You can get all my daily packages as well as my all access passes in all sports or individual sports. WT.buzz/RB. 154 and 110, 59% in the NBA playoffs since 2021, and a huge net profit while doing so of plus 130.42 units. So I know how to get it done at this time of year. And also all access pass right now, all sports for the next 365 days, $1,499, folks. Why should you consider that? Because it's $500 off the normal price. It amounts to a mere $4.10 per day on average. and I'm up over 183 units of net profit in all sports since May 13th of 2025. Currently, number one in all sports at WagerTalk the last 365 days as well. So there you have it, $1,499, 365-day all-access pass. Not only will you get the next 365 days of picks that I post at WagerTalk.com, you'll also get a 25% off bonus coupon to boot, which you could use toward any other, I should say 25% off discount coupon you could use toward any other purchase at WagerTalk.com throughout the entirety of that 365 days. You could use it as many times as you want. Obviously, you already have my 365 days for the price you pay. We're going to throw in another 25% off any other purchase at the site throughout that 365 days from any other of the great handicappers over at WagerTalk.com. Until the next time, for Ross the Boss Benjamin and WagerTalk TV, take care and God bless, folks.